Back to some Destiny. Wow, man! If y'all knew the week that I had today, it's been something else. I'll tell you. Decided to finally just get back on, do some. What was I doing? I think I was doing some strikes, just working through some of the bounties and quests and things. Don't need anything special. Just trying to get some gear so I can dismantle it for those cores and things. But man, what a week! I'll tell you. It's kind of a good week at work today. So I don't know if you've seen my about or whatever, right? You know that I work in higher ed, and I'll tell you that around this time gets to be just really crazy hectic, because you can only imagine, right? Like you have all these people that are trying to go to school, and you especially given the time of year, it's the holidays, right? It's people are out of town or people are spending time with family. They're doing other things than trying to prep to come to school, right? So next thing you know, deadlines start hitting and people just panic. They straight up panic and start coming in. So yeah, this week in particular has just been wacky. Yeah, and you could say that we tend to see about 10 times the amount of traffic that we would typically see around this time. So yeah, it's just really stressful for everybody. I mean, I guess probably one of the cool things was the fact that, like, as busy as we've been, I mean, things have still been, they've been good, right? Like, I was pretty dang excited the other day because on Thursday, when I'd got the news that I was basically given permission to move forward on a proposal that I'd been working on for like off and on, probably like at minimum 3 years, maybe even longer than that. Like, and what I mean by that is, like, trying to get something done. I put some paperwork together and I submit it, and each time I've been told no. Um, so Thursday, I say it was like an amazing day because I was finally given a yes, right? And we're talking like something that's pretty dang critical for my team. So it's a little bit of a restructure and just kind of creating a career path forward for my team. So, like I said, we've been looking forward to this for minimum 3 years. So Thursday, like, I felt like I was batting 1,000, just like high on life, like everything's great, amazing, just super excited. So let's test our sound levels here as I'm monitoring my stream here. Test, test, test. Let's see. I know I tested my sound levels earlier, but you just never know. Sometimes stuff doesn't work the way that it's supposed to. So it's always good to test in multiple ways. Let's see here. Let's unmute this. There we go. All right. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. We're working. Good deal. All right. So now that I know that, let's go back to where we were. Bounties. Let's see, what was it that I'm still working on here? Is it just grenades? Grenades, and then if we get some cabal, we'll get cabal. Good. Anyway, so right, best day of my life. At least that's kind of the way it felt on Thursday. And got some things done. Super excited. And I decided, like, oh hey man, like things are pretty damn good. Like I should celebrate, right? So I give the wife a call. I'm like, hey babe, like let's go have some dinner, man. Let's, like, go have some drinks, whatever. Like I said, it's like 3 years when you've been working on something for 3 years, right? And you are just told no. And we're talking something significant, right? Something that's gonna make a difference in people's lives. Like it can be heartbreaking, and especially when, like, you just know that it's the right thing. You have all this data, right? You have all this evidence, and you know it's gonna make a world of difference. So it's just sometimes in my mind just really hard to rationalize, like, why would I get a no, why would I get a no if this is gonna be the best thing in the world? And so just to get that yes, it just, right, it just felt good. Anyway, so yeah, we go, we have some dinner, and you know had even more good news because I don't know, man, the wife and I mean, I think we have a great relationship, and we're just kind of talking through some things, and everything just seemed to be headed in my direction. So on Friday, because this was a Thursday, so on Friday, honestly, it was bound to happen, right? That I was gonna have, like, not the worst day of my life, but just like, right? If everything was so good on Thursday, it was just bound to happen that Friday was gonna be a shitty ass day, like the shittiest day of the last 12 months. So that's kind of what it felt like. So anyway, right? I'm still high on life. Friday morning comes around, and it's a deadline, right? So I already knew going in that it was going to be even busier than the day before. Okay, So it was expected, right? So I just kind of, I went in prepped, right? Prepped for the fact that it's going to be a stressful day. But, like, I don't think anything could really prepare me for, like, what the hell is going to happen. So I go in, things are great, and then I'm looking at my calendar, and I'm like, wait a minute, why, where did this appointment come from to have a one-on-one with my boss? It seemed really weird to me. I'm like, we met on Wednesday, we met again like Thursday, we are going through the proposal, and I'm just like, what the hell happened? Why are we meeting a third time? Like, what in the world did we not cover that is so urgent that all of a sudden there's this one-on-one appointment on my calendar for Friday morning? So I was kind of freaking out. I was like, oh crap! It's either really good or really bad, right? Because apparently it couldn't wait. So anyway, I go in, and the boss calls me because we were supposed to meet at one place, and I'm there, and he wasn't. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Okay, he's calling me. Oh, okay, fine, whatever. So I answer the phone, and then it's the jefe, and I'm just, hey, what's up, boss? And he's like, oh yeah, so he's just kind of walking through like, oh, I completely forgot that I set this meeting in this other location, blah blah blah. And then he asked me, it was the funniest thing. He's like, hey, so what are we supposed to be meeting about? And I'm like, well, you tell me, right? We're supposed to have a one-on-one, or we had our one-on-one on Wednesday. We met again yesterday after the proposal. I'm like, you're the one that set this meeting. And I had assumed, right, that you naturally had something that you needed to share with me. And he's like, oh, well, I was just scheduling our one-on-one because I hadn't realized that we had it. So I don't know if that's a good thing either, because I'm like, how could he not know that we had our one-on-one on Wednesday? Like, I don't know, is that concerning, right? I mean, he's been kind of sick for the last, like, week or so, so I'm just like, maybe he's just not back to his normal self, right? So I give him the benefit of the doubt, but it was just kind of funny. Here we are, right, having this one-on-one when we already had it on Wednesday, and him thinking that it had not happened. So, anyway, I was like, okay, right, we're good, there are no problems here. And I just kind of proceed with the rest of my day, right? So, next thing you know, like, I start helping my team out, right? Just kind of, communicating with students, because like I said, right, traffic is super high right now. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to help the team out. I'm going to pitch in. My function tends to be very different, and I'm not really serving the students as much as they do, right? So I just kind of changed that scenario because, well, like I said, right, traffic's high, they need help, so I pitched in. And as I start reaching out, like some of the students are saying, like, why are you saying, like, hey, you need to, like, do a payment plan today, and that you're going to get late fees if you don't do it, because we got this text that said something different. And I'm like, huh, that doesn't sound right? I'm like, oh, let me look at your particular situation, student, because what you're telling me just is not making sense, right? That's not what we would normally tell somebody. So I just kind of start, like, digging in a little bit, and I'm like, oh, shoot. I made this mistake. Like, I sent something incorrectly. And I'm like, damn. Like, it was bound to, like, right? Just things were bound to go in a completely opposite direction because things went so damn good on Thursday. But that's what happened, man. So there I was, right? Just kind of even all the more reason for me to pitch in, because I'm like, shit, I needed to fix my freaking mistake. So that's kind of what got me tripping. I spent like that whole day afterward just like talking to people, fixing stuff, working things out, because I really kind of screwed up. Like, I don't want students to be confused. I mean, freaking college can be hella confusing as it is. So, I was just kind of working through that, and it was just a really rough day because not to say I don't make mistakes, but it's been a hell of a long time, right? And the last mistake that I made was just nothing like on this scale, at least in my opinion. It's kind of a big deal. So I felt really bad, and it wasn't a good day. Like, kind of like got that out of the way and fixed. So anyway, I decided to go have some drinks with Buddy afterward. So I'm like, man, I'm just telling him, like, it's been a rough day. Like, I need a drink. Like, I need to relax because I have not been relaxing at all today. And work can be relaxing because I just love what I do. So, anyway, right, we did that. And that was like right after work. We met up. You know, he got out of work, and I got out of work, and we went to that place that I like to go to on occasions, like just a neighborhood hole on the wall. You know, like a lot of regulars, just people that you see, and they know me, I know them, just because that the the people, it's always the same people, right? The people don't change. So anyway, we go there, and that was at 5, and we just start hanging out, and like things got deep. I mean, I don't know, probably because it was so stressful, right? And we were just having a good time, so we just kind of stuck around. We'd have one, and next thing you know, somebody'd pop in, and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Right? And let's have a drink. I'm like, oh, "Hey, why not? That's why we're here, right? Let's have a drink." And the funny thing, right? Like we're getting ready to pack up, and like somebody else comes in, and I'm just like, "Oh, hey, I'm not going anywhere, right? You just got here, like let's hang out and drink." So, man, I swear, I was getting just so deep, and started having all these conversations about life, and I was just getting damn right inspiration, conversating with people, man. I was just like I said, I mean, I started getting pretty damn personal, and right now I can't shut up because I don't know. I tend to be a pretty talkative person, but damn, sometimes when I drink, like if you think that I'm talking a lot now, like Jesus, man, when I drink, I don't shut up, and I just, you know, I have everything in the world that needs to be said. And I remember having this conversation with a person that was sitting next to me, just about how, just life in general, and kind of had a rough upbringing, and that, um, I moved from one school to another, and when you're a kid, right, and you have a billion friends, and then you move, and you don't know anyone, no one knows you, and no one wants to get to know you, and people just freaking ostracize you and ignore you, and you just don't have any friends. Like, shit can be rough, man. And especially like that time, English wasn't like my first language or anything, and I went from a place where a lot of people spoke Spanish, and I went to a place where no one at all spoke Spanish, and it was really hard for me, not having any friends, not necessarily being the best at the language. Very different scenario now, but it was rough. And I can still recall as a little kid, just and this conversation that I was having with this individual, right, that I can still recall as a kid, like just like being ready to just off myself, right, just because I didn't have anything to live for. I didn't have anyone. It was a really difficult time for me, and it didn't help any to get bullied because I was the new kid, and it was just rough, right? And the funny thing about this conversation is, like, the person that I was talking with is like, tells me, like, you don't know how much I needed to hear this, right? Because what I was telling this individual was that, going through that experience, and that wasn't the only time that, I had thoughts like that, but going through those two experiences in my life, just, it really taught me a lot. It taught me that when you are at your lowest, right, and there are so many things, and when you're at your lowest, it's really easy to stay there. And what I was telling her was, because right when you're at your lowest, it's really hard to see anything else, and just kind of naturally, what ends up happening is that even right subconsciously, every action that you take, every decision that you make, will ensure that you stay there. So I was telling her that it took these, like, that was right the first of two experiences that taught me this, that when you're at the lowest of the low, it's temporary. It will be temporary unless you're taking steps to make sure that it doesn't. So, and that's when she kind of started telling me, like, right, like, damn, like, how I needed to hear this, right? I mean, I didn't ask the individual, but I imagine that maybe they were having similar thoughts, right? Like their life was just kind of in a shithole, and they didn't see their way out. And I was telling her, right, as an elementary kid, man, I was ready to just like slip my wrist, whatever, right? I wanted to pay in the end. And that I look at my life today, right, that somewhere in there, I made this decision, right, that I'm not going to let these particular events define me, and that I'm going to figure out a way out of that hole, right, out of the mess. And naturally, things weren't always like that. Eventually got friends. Eventually, there were people that I could hang out with. it took time. It took time, like anything that's worthwhile, right? And that's I guess that was one of many, many deep conversations that I had over the span of a good 7 hour period, and it was just, it was really good. It was good in that, I don't know. It's always, even though I think I'm in a really good spot in my life right now, just having that conversation, kind of remembering some of those feelings, it just kind of, it was a good reminder, of how good things are, and how things can go south and can stay there if you let them. But yeah, I had that conversation, and then you know, and then I saw my neighbor's kid. My neighbor's kid comes into the room, and we had a great conversation there too. I mean, like I said, I was just getting ready to pack up, and then he comes in, and I start talking to him about all the conversations that I've had with his father, and just how proud his father is of him, and at least in his words, he said it was news to him, right? But I tell him how his dad and I have had conversations about like raising kids, and I have a lot of respect and admiration for my neighbor because I see his kids. He has a boy and two girls, and I see them, and I see like what they're doing. Right? I don't know why I got out of these strikes, but I see what they're doing. One of them graduated from college. He has another one that's in there, and another one's about to graduate from high school. And they're just like, they're good kids. Like, right? Every time I see them, super respectful. And it's not like, when I see their friends, I mean, they just seem to be like their friends are good people. And I'm just like, damn, neighbor, like, how did you do it, right? Like, my kids are still pretty damn young, but it worries me. Like, when they're teens, like, what the hell are they going to be like, right? Like, are they going to be running off, getting into trouble? Or are they going to be focused on school? I mean, these are the things that, like, parents worry about. And it just, yeah, shit like that keeps me up at night some days. And so I was telling my neighbor's son, I'm just like, man, you did good, Like, you did good, and that's what your dad and I talk about. And that I've asked him, like, what his secret was. And now that you're here, and now that you're old enough to drink and do these things, I'm like, tell me. Like, you need to tell me what the secret is. So that's kind of what we were talking about. I was just trying to get some pointers from his point of view about, why, why he was such a good kid, man. And he had a couple of his friends there with him too, drinking, and I brought him around, and it was a really good conversation to have, man. And I tend to be a pretty damn open person, so I feel like I can talk to anyone about almost anything. Pretty easy to get along with, and it was just, I was really thankful to have had that conversation with him because I don't know, I think it made me feel like I'm on the right track with my kids, and hopefully as long as we keep that up, they'll be they'll be respectful just like he was, and they'll stay focused and hopefully go to school and just kind of live out their lives the way they want with just maybe some guidance from me. Uh, just so many deep conversations. But naturally, after 7 hours of drinking, yeah, I wasn't driving anywhere. There's no way in hell, right? But that buddy that I'd actually invited out. I mean, we were just all drinking together, and he's like, "Hey man, let's go check out another bar." I'm like, "Hey, why not? Having a great time so far. Let's keep the good times rolling." So we go to another bar, and oh god, man, I think that's kind of where things went downhill. I mean, not to say like we were still having a great time, and I just saw some more people that I know at the other place, and I was like, oh damn, here we go again. Like, I need to have a drink with him too. So we did, and by the time I got out of there, I got my Uber out, and I was just like, all right, man, it's time to call it quits. I think I still got home at a decent time. It was like midnight. I came rolling in, but apparently I'd had like just way too much because it wasn't until like next morning. Well, yeah, after some unfortunate times that night, the next morning, and I could actually like stand. I was just like, shoot, where the hell's my phone? Like, God, I hate that. I lost my phone. Oh man, I mean, the pretty cool thing about an iPhone, right? They have those features. You can log in, right? Do whatever.
This is an elevator.
figured things out, right? It tracks it down, but the damn thing was dead, so it just showed my last location, right? And I'm just like, oh, well, hopefully it's there. It has to be there. It wasn't there. It was not at that bar. So I was like, oh, hell, man. Kind of trying to backtrack, right? Like, where was I? Who did I talk to? And I'm like, well, if I got an Uber, naturally I had my phone when I got the Uber, right? I mean, it only makes sense. So then I'm like, shoot, my phone is in, oh, there it is. I'm like, my phone is in the Uber, right? It has to be there. So then I'm trying to log in to Uber for my PC. I saw the receipt, so I saw who picked me up, at least the first name. But in order to contact the Uber driver, like, you can only contact them when you have the Uber app. So that's why I was trying to log in for my PC, but lo and behold, man, like, when I'm trying to log in for my PC, oh shit, I didn't realize I hadn't changed guns. Anyway, when I'm trying to log in for my PC, it's sending me a damn text. So naturally, we got a problem, man. I don't have my phone. How am I going to log into Uber if I can't access text? So I'm like, shoot, there has to be a way, right? I start looking through the Uber site, and that's like all they tell you is like, oh, you got to use the app. And I'm like, shoot, how the hell am I going to figure this out? So it took me forever, like most of the day, trying to figure it out. I finally spotted this, like, it's a hidden away section of the Uber site. Let's pick this up. So it's this hidden away section of the Uber site where it's like, oh, you lost your phone? Like, yeah, naturally you can't log into this stuff, so we need to figure out another way to help you, right? So I had to fill out this form and, give them all the details of where I was picked up and when, and the name of my driver, what they were driving. I don't know what the hell she was driving. Anyway, I at least had enough details to get at a response of some sort. So then they tell me, all right, we'll reach out to your Uber driver and we'll let them know to call you at this alternate number. I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to get my phone back. So that was like, maybe 1:30? Because I'd already gone to the bar, found out the phone wasn't there, got some other things done, and, helped the wife out because it was my son's birthday party, so help her with that prep. Basically doing all the good things that a good husband does. And, here we are, 1:30, like 2 hours later, I get an email, and it says, oh, hey, we got in touch with the driver. And the driver said they got you your phone back, so we charged you an extra $15. I'm like, bullshit, I did not get my phone back. So, then I have to, like, again, right, I can't contact anybody because all they have are these damn forms if you don't have the app. So I fill out the damn form again because I'm trying to respond to the email that they sent me, and the damn thing just wasn't working. And if you look at those emails, it gets this really weird thing that says, oh, when you reply, you got to reply above this line and blah, 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 like just all this bullshit. So I'm like, I'm going to fill out the form again, right? Figure this out. I fill out the form again. I'm like, I do not have my phone. This person has fraudulently declared that they have returned my phone and got this additional money from me. No, I don't have it. So anyway, right, just going through that bullshit, trying to figure it out. Nothing, just like nothing. They're like, oh, finally, I think it was like 8:30, 5 hours later, like, finally, they're like, oh, we will give you your money back. If you say that you don't have your phone, I mean, I guess I should be thankful, right? That we will believe you. And they refunded me that money. Well, not technically refunded because they say it takes like 24 to 48 hours, but whatever, right? They at least sent me an email saying they gave me my money back. So I'm like, okay, we're on the right track. Now, my next problem. I'm like, if you believe me that I don't have my phone, and you've told the driver I don't have my phone, yet the driver has said that I have my phone, like, what the hell is next, right? Like, I gotta have some recourse. Like, can you give me the number, right? Like, let me do the follow-up. Like, they're like, no, sorry. Like, you're shit out of luck, right? Like, we are not responsible for any items that you're stupid enough to leave in the Uber driver's vehicle, and that this is the only way to resolve it. We give the Uber driver the information. They contact you. It's like, son of a bitch. How am I going to figure this out? Like, I'm like, that's an iPhone. iPhones aren't freaking cheap. I mean, it's not like it was the newest model or anything, but like, damn, it doesn't matter what you want, right? Like, we're talking hundreds of dollars to replace a phone nowadays. Like, these things are no longer simple. So I was just like, hell, man, what the hell? What am I going to do? So I'm just kind of like talking through the situation with the wife, and I was just like, well, I guess really the only thing I can do is just send another email, I guess, right? Fill out the form again, just asking them like, help me, give me the info, right? Let me worry about it. And they wouldn't do it. Uber would not do it. Which I just found really frustrating because if you have the app, apparently you can, right? You can contact the driver. There's the way to get a hold of the driver. So if you don't have the app, but you have your email, you have a receipt, right? You can show, hey, it's me. I'm the one that got that ride. Then why the heck don't they just give you the info, right? Like, man, let me harass this driver until they do the right thing and give me my phone. So, anyway, the next day, right? Here we are now. That day is today. Here we are today. I'm like, shoot, what the hell, man? What are we going to do now? So I'm just sending more emails, filling out more forms, trying to figure it out, hoping that someone will say something. And weirdest thing, like the weirdest thing, and this is how you know Big Brother, like Big Brother is always around. They're watching you. They're tracking you. They know who you are, what you do, where you were. They know everything, right? This is how you know this. So my wife is checking out our Facebook, and what in the hell pops up? She comes to me and she's like, hey, she's like, what was that Uber driver's name again? I'm like, oh, her name was like, right? So and so. Yeah, her name was, I guess I'll just say it. I mean, shit, there's a lot of them around, right? I'm like, her name was Erica. And she's like, look at this. Because if you're a Facebook user, right, you know that Facebook on occasion will say, hey, do you know this person? You should request them as a friend. well, guess who? Guess who Facebook thought that I knew? This girl, Erica. And I look at her and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's her. I don't think that's her. Because, no, the girl that picked me up, she wears glasses, right? Because the cool thing about those Uber receipts is they have pictures of the drivers, right? And I'm like, let's look at her Facebook a little more, right? And lo and behold, girl wears glasses. Like, I'm like, oh my god, dude, that is her. That is freaking her. Like, let's send her a message. All right, so I sent her this message. No reply. You know, I gave her probably about an hour, right? I gave her an hour. And I'm like, okay, right, whatever. She don't respond right away. Maybe she's in the middle of something, right? I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. Even though here we are 2 days later and I don't have my phone. So anyway. Oh, and I should say, yes, my phone was still dead all this time, right? I couldn't do anything, so whatever. My phone was dead. Just couldn't track, whatever. So, here we are, right? An hour later, and nothing. So I'm like, what's next? Oh, somebody must have dropped the orb. Where's the orb, boys? Well, anyway. Right? So I'm like, somebody dropped. Well, anyway. Let's see. So anyway, here we are. Yeah, what the hell? This is weird. Huh. Well, I'll let these guys figure it out because I'm still talking to you about my story, right? So anyway, hour later, right? And I'm like, oh, well, who is this mutual friend? So we saw where she worked, and we knew somebody that worked there, so we contacted that person. We saw who the mutual friend was, so we contacted that person, and yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's why. So anyway, right, contacted that person, and nothing. And finally, right, the wife needs to go to work. That was my alternate number. There was no other way to get a hold of me. So finally, the wife is like, hey, the person finally responded, right? Like, they finally responded like, oh, I need to go look for your phone. I don't even know if that's the truth, because, like, come on. Uber said that they had reached out, right? And this was yesterday. And here she is saying, oh, I need to go look for it. Like, well, you didn't go look for it when Uber, like, sent you a text saying, hey, this fool lost his phone in your ride? Anyway, I finally, about 2 full days later, got my phone. So I'm just so damn thankful to have my phone. But, like, man, it was, like I said, it's been a crazy few days. Yeah, it was fun. Everything was fun. I'm not complaining or anything. I'm just really happy to have my phone back. You know, and I was really looking forward to streaming too, because I was like, damn, I got a lot to talk about. Right? Yeah, we're going to say some words. Anyway, it was just funny because, you know, when I get there to pick up the phone, she's like, yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to you sooner. I just saw the message. And this was the best part, which it was just like, it couldn't get any better than this, right? She's like, I was just so hung over, she says to me. He's like, that's why I was just getting all these messages. Apparently, she had been wasted off her ass the next day. Is hopefully it wasn't when she picked my ass up, because if the Uber driver was a drunk driver, like holy shit, right? Like how ironic would that be? But anyway, right? I was just like, I tell her, I'm like, oh man, yeah, if you were that way, imagine how I was, because you had to pick my ass up. I'm just like, it was just so bad, so bad. So yeah, it's been a fun few days. They're fun few days, but I got my phone back. It's charging as we speak. Oh man, yeah, it's just been. Well, I had a lot to say about this whole ordeal. It's been kind of crazy for me. Uh, but yeah, I got my phone back. I was already like charging up my old phones because, I was really I think smart about how we tackled this problem because I'm like, all right, I got two old phones. I have an old Samsung and I have like a really old like iPhone 4, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm like I use Uber. Maybe one of my other phones has it, right? I mean, not that I'm like, let's say it did. I mean, none of them did, which was really shitty. But I was like, let's say they did, right? This is something I don't know. But I'm like, would I have been able to access that ride? Because of the fact that it's like, it's my same account, even though it was a different phone, right? I don't know. But I never got to test that out because obviously I didn't have it installed and it kept trying to send me a damn text to install it on those phones. Then I was like, okay, I was thinking if I reinstall, right? Because typically when you reinstall, like there are things that just come back with it. Nah, nothing came back with it. So yeah, felt like I was so SOL. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just really thankful to have my phone. Really thankful. And it's like we're good. Why do these guys keep tossing this to me, man? It's like, what are we doing? Playing catch? I'm like, are they scared? I'm like, what's going on, man? Fine, I'll die. I'll take them for the team. Like, God, just die already. Did I even get I don't even know if I got my bounties. I'm not sure as hell was throwing enough grenades earlier. Let's see. Anyway, let's check those out. But yeah, man, like, I mean, God, we come to rely so much on our damn phone. All right, it's like losing a damn limb.
What has happened?
Yeah, I was just kind of like prepping these phones, and I'm like, well, if I don't have my phone by tomorrow, then I'm gonna have to like get one of these phones activated, and they suck. And like, the reason I stopped using my Samsung is because the charger on it broke. It charges like super slowly, and the iPhone 4 is just hella old. So yeah, man, it's just good to have my phone back. It's so good. So yeah, it's been super eventful few days. Well, hell, and with that, gosh, actually, it's time to put the kiddos to bed. So I'm gonna take a little break. I might be back. We'll see. But if I don't come back, it's been great chatting, and yeah, I will see you all again soon.